Guys, welcome back to another recent game pickups video. And today I've got around 10 or so games that I want to share with you that I bought recently over the last couple of months. And yeah, let's get right into it. So first up here we have Pokemon Alpha Sapphire for the 3DS. Now, I owned Pokemon Omega Ruby. I had to remember for a second what the name was. I chose Ruby version. I played the original Ruby when I was a kid. So when the remakes came out, I chose Ruby, and I never picked up a copy of Alpha Sapphire for the little remake duology we had on the 3DS. So I recently went back because I was looking and I was like, the price of Pokemon games just keeps going up and up and up, and all of the 3DS games are still really cheap, and this was the only Pokemon game on the 3DS that I was still missing. So I picked this one up on eBay for like 40 bucks. It's complete in box. I don't know if I'll actually play it anytime soon, but when I do feel like replaying this generation again, I'll definitely play this version so that I don't have to delete my save file in Omega Ruby. Alright, and next up here, this is kind of a random little duology of games. This is Ninja Gaiden Sigma 1 and 2. And the word Sigma is such a meme now. But yeah, I picked these both up on the PS3 because recently they announced that they're making Ninja Gaiden 4, and I thought it looked pretty cool, and I've never played any of these games before outside of the original one on the NES, just out of curiosity. So yeah, I picked up these two. I know there's like PS4 versions or updated versions of them, but I was doing some research and apparently the newer ports aren't very good, so I'm gonna try these. I mean, let me know if I should play the newer ports or not, or if I picked good ones here, but they were really cheap, and I was like, usually when they announce a sequel to a game, the older games go up in price, so I figured I would get these. They were about 10 bucks each before they get too expensive. So I'm definitely looking forward to trying out the Ninja Gaiden Sigma games here soon. And then another game here from the PS3 360 generation is Armored Core 4. Now, I recently dabbled a little bit in Armored Core on the PS1, just because I am really excited to play the new one, Armored Core 6, on the PS5, but I wanted to kind of see where the series started first. And I was kind of looking into which games to buy. This one had really good reviews, and it's one of the less expensive games on the PS3 and Xbox 360 in this series. A lot of the other ones are kind of climbing up there in price. And then, PS3 and Xbox 360 games are pretty tricky to emulate these days still. So I was like, let's just get what's basically the cheapest one from that generation. And so that's why I ended up with this copy of Armored Core 4. I think I paid about $30 or $40 for it. I can't remember exactly. I just bought it off of eBay. It's got the manual and everything. It is complete in box here. The case is a little bit, it's got a couple little cuts here in the plastic, but I can easily just swap the artwork into a nicer case if I feel like it. But yeah, I'm really excited to experience more of the Armored Core series, and then eventually play the newest one as well. Alright, and basically the rest of this video here is all going to be games in this little box from the lovely website that is VGP. These guys do a lot of reprints of less common games and, all kinds of stuff. I'm not really exactly sure how they work because they reprint PS2 and PS3 games sometimes. These are all more modern games that I got from them, but they were having a huge Sega and Atlus sale earlier in the month. And I was like, I'm on a big Atlus kick on the moment. I've got Persona 4 Arena playing in the background. I've been enjoying that game. Ever since I finished Metaphor ReFantazio on the PS5, I've just been going back and trying to finish some Atlus games that I never finished before. I'm going back to Persona 4 Golden right now. I downloaded it on the Switch, and I'm having such a blast with that game. And honestly, this is kind of why I haven't done an episode of Backlog Journal in a while, is because literally all I've been playing was Metaphor, which took me 80 hours to beat, and then Persona 4 Golden, which is another 80 to 100 hour long game. So if I did an episode of Backlog Journal, I'd literally only be talking about those two games. So I'll get there eventually, but I want to play some more stuff to kind of make a more packed episode of Backlog Journal. But with that out of the way, let's talk about the games that I picked up from the big VGP sale. Alright, so first up here is 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. Now, this is a really beautiful looking game by Vanillaware, and I hate to admit it, but I've actually never played any of the Vanillaware games before, but they all look beautiful. It's just one of those things I've never gotten around to. And the reason why I picked this one up is because I've been on a big mecha kick lately, as you saw with Armored Core 4, and this game features mecha. So I was like, you know, it looks pretty cool, and you know, it was on sale. I think I paid 20 bucks, possibly less for it. It was really cheap. All of the games I got from this website were super cheap. They had huge discounts going on. But yeah, this game here, it looks awesome. I don't really know a whole lot about it. I know it's kind of like visual novel mixed with action or strategy combat. I actually don't really know. I'm kind of going into this one blind, but super excited to give this one a try. Then the other game by Vanillaware that we have here is Dragon's Crown Pro. So I remember this game being a huge deal back when it launched on the PS3. Oh man, I don't even remember what year it was. I don't know if it was around 2010, somewhere around there. But at the time, I didn't have a PS3, and you know, I was mostly just playing Nintendo stuff back at that time, and I remember thinking this game looked really cool. So I finally have a copy now, and this is like the version with all the content in it and stuff, and honestly, it probably runs a lot better than it did on the PS3. But yeah, this one was another one that was super cheap. I think it was around 20 bucks as well. But yeah, just a really cool fantasy action RPG 2D beat 'em up style of game here. Looks really unique, the art looks really beautiful, and it looks like it's multiplayer as well, so I'm excited to give this one a try. Alright, let's talk about some Persona stuff. I mentioned briefly that I've been playing Persona 4 Golden, and kind of in the same vein that Persona 4 Golden was an enhanced edition of the original Persona 4 from the PlayStation 2, I had to pick up this copy of Persona 5 Royal. I played through the original version of Persona 5 back when it first came out and absolutely loved it, and I never played Persona 5 Royal. I know this adds like a ton of additional content, so I'm excited to jump into this one. Probably not right after I finish Persona 4 Golden, just because I just finished Metaphor, and Persona 4 is, you know, another really long RPG, but I'm definitely going to get into Persona 5 Royal. I'll probably play the Persona 3 remake though before I get to this, because Persona 5 is still kind of fresh in my memory, but Persona 3 I haven't played in a really long time, so that'll probably be the next big Atlus game I play after Persona 4. If you've never played any of the Persona or any of these like Atlus games I'm talking about, I think Persona 5 is actually a really good starting point. The Persona games, if you don't know, they're not connected in any way, so you can really start anywhere, but I think 5 is probably the easiest to get into. And speaking of Persona 5, we have Persona 5 Tactica, which is a little strategy game spin-off of Persona 5, which takes the cast of Persona 5 and makes them all cute and tiny and puts them in a little strategy RPG here. And this one was like super cheap. I think I paid like $10 for this one. It came out very recently, so I was surprised that it was this cheap. I initially wasn't super excited about this one. You know, Atlus has made a ton of Persona 5 spin-offs due to the huge success that game was for them, and I think that's great, but when I saw this I was like, oh, I kind of wish we were getting Persona 6 and not another Persona 5 spin-off here. But now that I got it for such a discounted price, and I've, you know, watched a few YouTube reviews on it and stuff, I actually kind of think this game looks really fun and charming, and I'm excited to give it a try eventually here. Alright, moving on to a little Sega game here, and that is Lost Judgment for the PS5. Now, this one is probably one that I'm not going to get to for a while, but again, this one was like $10 or $15, so I was like, you know what, might as well get it while it's that low in price. This is a part of the Like a Dragon or Yakuza series. I've been slowly working my way through the Yakuza series over the past 7 years. I'm only on Yakuza 3 right now, and I am taking a break from it, but I'll probably jump back into it at some point in the future. I know the Judgment games are kind of their own thing, but they still kind of take place in the same universe from what I understand. So I don't know if I'll wait till I catch up on the Yakuza games to jump into Lost Judgment or what. Let me know down below what you think I should do, because I do think the Judgment games look really cool, but I wasn't sure if I should play them now or hold off a bit until I'm caught up on the Yakuza series. But either way, happy to add that one to the collection, and yeah, it was a really good deal, so I figured why not. Oh, and my bad. The last game we have here, and it is another Atlus game, is Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. Now, with this one, I picked up the original SMT5 on the Switch, and I unfortunately never got around to actually starting it, and then they announced Vengeance, which is much like Persona 5 Royal, an enhanced version with a bunch of new content and all this stuff on top of the original game. So I was just kind of like, you know, now that Vengeance is out, I'm just not going to play the original SMT5, and I'm just going to wait for Vengeance to go down in price, and then I'll pick up that version and play that. And that's exactly what I did. This one was, I think, like 20 bucks once again, so super cheap, and this one came out super recently as well. So I was really excited when I saw it for such a low price, and that's why I picked it up. So yeah, that's SMT5 Vengeance, and I will get to that one eventually because that's going to be another long dungeon crawler RPG, but I'm super excited. I swear, as I've gotten older, I'm more and more into the more hardcore, like, dungeon crawler type of JRPGs, more punishing ones like SMT and Persona, and I don't know, I just find I find coming home from work and just trying to make my way through a dungeon and just surviving and, you know, all that stuff, I find it really addicting and kind of cathartic in a way. I don't know why, but I just it appeals to me more and more recently compared to back in the day where I didn't really like dungeon crawlers that much. But it's a genre, a subgenre of RPGs that has really clicked with me more recently, and that's why I've been on this big Atlus and Persona SMT binge recently. So yeah, guys, those are all of the games that I picked up recently over these last couple of months here. So let me know what you think down below of my recent pickups, and let me know what you've gotten your hands on recently as well. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.